Alright, what's going on everybody? So, this is a little bit, I guess, different of a video than I usually make here on the channel, but honestly, this is one that I just wanted to make, and it's kind of similar to a video, I guess, that I made about a year ago at this point. But I just kind of wanted to talk about the current, I guess, gaming scene slash industry, talk about some of the things that I'm feeling when it comes down to video games, and just kind of see if I'm the only person feeling this way. Now, if you're not one of these people, if you're actually always enjoying new games or you're always finding new experiences to play, honestly, man, I'm happy for you because you are getting a lot more out of the gaming industry than I am at this point. You are having a much better time than me. And this video is not in any way meant to attack people like that. I feel like a lot of people misinterpret this argument as like oh, if you're enjoying any new video game, you're a moron, which no. You know, if you enjoy the new Call of Duty game, I can't hate on you. If you enjoy the new Madden, I can't hate on you. If you enjoyed Cyberpunk, I can't hate on you, you know? But I've been, unfortunately, dealing with this issue for a few years now, it seems like. And it's actually kind of depressing in a way, because video games have actually genuinely been such a massive part of my life. I started playing video games when I was around 3 years old. My dad introduced me to the world of gaming on the PlayStation 2 with Grand Theft Auto 3 and Madden 2003. I know Grand Theft Auto 3 for a 3-year-old child is like, you know, for a lot of people that just seems criminal, but for the most part, I would just kind of like drive the cars around and like try to avoid hurting anybody, and I would like try to do taxi missions, but obviously being 3, you're not going to really do very well or complete them at all. So more or less, I just kind of roleplayed being an NPC at the age of 3, but that's how I got introduced into video games, and from there it expanded, man. I got a Nintendo GameCube. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker is still one of my favorite video games of all time. Namco Museum opened me up to a lot of classic video games. I played so many different types of video games growing up that I just absolutely adored. And even today, like when I go back and play them, I'm just in love with these games, man. They're just awesome. But unfortunately, I've been feeling that like recently, new games just don't hit the same. It's been years since a video game has actually kind of caught my attention in the same way that a lot of games did, I guess, for, you know, well over a decade. I mean, I've played video games basically my entire life. I mean, if it wasn't for video games, I wouldn't even have a career on YouTube. I started out doing gameplay commentaries, giving my opinions on video games. I mean, I was a child in middle school recording Modern Warfare 3 commentaries with an iPod Touch set up on some books that I stacked in front of a 26-inch flat screen in the corner of my bedroom. That's how I got my start, you know? That's how my entire career that has changed my life all began, was all those years ago. And it seems like back then I just had so many different games to play, you know? Call of Duty games actually hit. They were really good. There was Grand Theft Auto 4, NBA 2K. Those games were still good, man. Sports games actually still got something out of me. I still had my PSP and it still functioned. Well, I mean, I still have my PSP, but I don't have a charger for it. I probably should get one, but I had all these different games to play, and back then, you know, it feels like that you're gonna have, you know, video games to play forever, right? And like, I would always look forward to video games of the future, like what kind of awesome games are gonna come out now? And unfortunately, I just feel like that hasn't been the case at all. I feel like I've been really let down. The games of my childhood feel infinitely better, and I feel like as time goes on, you know, the mission of the gaming industry has kind of changed, and in turn, the mission of a lot of video games has changed. I mean, when I was a kid, you released a video game, and if it wasn't good, people would not fucking buy it. That just was how it was. If a game studio came out and they released a shitty video game that absolutely sucked, it was unplayable, it was broken from launch, that's how the game was, you know, like, you didn't get a chance to fix that. You didn't have day one patches and constant, you know, content updates, which, don't get me wrong, those are really actually good things, but not having those things to rely on kind of made game studios actually try. You know, they had to put out a good product and make it right the first time, or else the game fucking flopped. There was no chance for it to come back. You couldn't just knock it down to $9.99 on the PlayStation Store when the new update came out and hope to pull in some buys. You know, that just wasn't how it was. You released that shit on disc, it was like that. And so games were really good right off the jump, you know? I even find myself going back and playing these games. And this is what's crazy. I've been playing recently, like, I've been really into, like, Grand Theft Auto 5 again, which, you know, isn't super old in the grand scheme of things, but goddamn, that game is approaching 8 years old. And the funny thing is, I remember when that game came out, the exact day that I pre-ordered it and the day that it came out. I remember when Grand Theft Auto 5 was, you know, not even an available video game. I remember the day before, actually, I was playing, you know, the online mode of Grand Theft Auto 4's DLC, The Ballad of Gay Tony, and I'm just sitting here thinking, like, man, this is really going to be one of the last times that I play this. Because Grand Theft Auto 5 comes out tomorrow, and it was a school day. I was in middle school, okay? So I had to sit all the way through school that whole day, knowing that when I got home, my mom already had went and picked up my copy from GameStop that I'd pre-ordered. And when I came home, man, like, my mind was fucking blown by this game. Like, when I started up GTA 5 on the PS3 for the first time, and I played through those first few missions, like, my mind was absolutely blown. Like, I remember going outside that day and, like, talking to my friends in the neighborhood on our bikes, and they're all just like, oh, bro, how's GTA 5? Because no one else in the neighborhood had this shit. And I'm just sitting here like, dude, it's incredible. Like, you guys have never experienced a game like this. And, like, they were all so pissed because their parents wouldn't let them come to my house to play it that day. Because, well, it was Grand Theft Auto, and a lot of parents don't let their kids play that kind of shit. But, like, dude, it was, like, an insane feeling. And I've never had a video game feel that way for me ever again. And it's kind of unfortunate, man. I think that there's a couple different reasons why that is the case. But like I said, I've found myself relying on the same games, it feels like, for years now to keep me entertained, in fact. I play Grand Theft Auto 5 like it's going out of fucking style, man. I mean, I've probably beaten that game 6 times over. I've probably sunk in, shit, at this point, it's probably gotten into the thousands of hours total on Grand Theft Auto 5. I've played so much Minecraft that, you know, I can probably hum the entire soundtrack to that game verbatim without missing a fucking note. Every sound effect in that game, I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so many old games, right, from my childhood, you know, Grand Theft Auto 5, Minecraft, the old sports games, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Galaxy, the Halo series, right? All the old good Call of Duty games. And there's so many more, man. Like, the Guitar Hero games were so underrated, I feel like. There's just so many games out there that, like, as a kid, when you're playing them, man, like, the memories, like, of course you make them, but you don't realize it. And you get to this point that in, like, 3 or 4 years, when the game's not, you know, really popular anymore or anything, you're just sitting there thinking, like, damn, I really wish that in the moment I appreciated playing that game in its peak way more. Like, in the video here, you're watching Black Ops 2 campaign. Being a kid playing Black Ops 2, man, like, it was a really good game. Like, I knew even then, and it's still one of my favorite games of all time, but, like, dude, if I could do, like, a one-day rewind back to 2012 and get to play Black Ops 2 in its prime again, dude, I would give a lot up to do that, because, like, I really do want to kind of go back and experience a lot of these games again, because the truth is these new games just don't hit like they did anymore. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, I know that there are, of course, good games that are coming out, right? I know that indie studios in particular have been releasing a lot of really great video games in the last few years. And there's even been some mainstream successes. I can't sit here and pretend like everything is a failure or whatever. But it seems like every game that I play or get excited for, man, is just a massive fucking disappointment. And a lot of it really comes down to how the gaming industry's changed. I mean, obviously, like I said, back in the day, you really had one shot with your game. And if you didn't hit, you know, that was remembered. But now, if your game sucks at launch, you can try and pull a No Man's Sky and within 5 years try and reverse course and push out all the content that you promised, which, don't get me wrong, No Man's Sky is actually a great video game now that they've done all the necessary updates to make the game an actual video game, but as someone who, that was my first pre-ordered game where I actually went to a midnight release for, that just really put a sour taste in my mouth when that all happened, man. It seems like the gaming industry now is a lot more about, you know, sell $15 microtransactions, you know, sell the fucking battle pass, prioritize multiplayer content only, and the actual, like, spirit of making video games has been largely pushed to the side for profits. Of course, this is not something across the board. This is something that is, you know, really happening a lot, but I don't think completely across the board. But it's still just so depressing to watch, man. You know, like, all these good games have been ruined by microtransactions and the monetization systems. And, you know, in a lot of ways, the gaming industry has improved. Like, obviously, DLC, we have to say, is a lot better nowadays, right? You know, back in the day, you had to buy an expansion pack. I know a lot of you probably don't remember this, and, you know, I'm kind of in that transitory period, I guess, between, you know, people where, like, I'm old enough to remember going to the store and getting expansion packs for, like, PC games, and it came in the big bulky box, and you had to install it on the CD, and your computer actually had a CD drive. But of course now, the DLC is a free update, and the Battle Pass, which is $10 a month, is how you pay for the DLC. Or you pay for it with a $20 skin where your character looks like a glowing clown with a dildo around his waist, and, you're running around in this war scene, right? That's just kind of how the gaming industry has gone. And, I can't complain, because in all reality, as I take my headset off here, it's really creaky, my fault, but in all reality, these DLC methods obviously are better. They provide more content to these games, they provide them quicker, they provide them on an actual schedule to keep you coming back and playing the game or whatnot, but the way that this stuff has been monetized, and it's been almost, I guess, prioritized over the actual games, just fucking sucks, man. Like, it's just so sad to see video games that could just be phenomenal projects if put out, but instead, like, 40% of the content has been cut away from the game to make DLC out of later. It's really depressing to see that kind of shit happening. And it's just been happening for so long, and there's been like disappointment after disappointment in the gaming industry where, like, these video games get hyped the fuck up and they are kind of like considered the next holy grail of video games or whatever, and then the next thing that you know, they come out and they're unfinished, they're buggy, they're rushed, they should have been delayed another 3 years. The content's not impressive, the gameplay fucking sucks, there's something going on, man, and it's just such a massive disappointment. Now, I've kind of hypothesized that there might be another reason why this is happening, and this one's just kind of depressing. I think another reason that a lot of these newer video games just don't hit is because, honestly, man, the games are just not going to be viewed the same by me as they would if I was a kid. I mean, when I was a kid, I was so excited for the new Call of Duty games to come out. When Modern Warfare 3 came out, I remember the day that it came out, like, I got surprised for having really good grades in school and actually turning my performance around in school. My parents came home from work one day with a copy of Modern Warfare 3, and, like, dude, I was so fucking hyped. Like, I had never been so just excited to play a video game as I was when Modern Warfare 3 came out. Like, I had never even known that I was going to be getting that game, and then I got it, and, like, that was just, it was a fucking rush of adrenaline and just excitedness as a child. But, Call of Duty Vanguard, the World War II shooter from Sledgehammer, is coming out in just a few months, and honestly, I didn't even play the alpha for this game. I mean, I have a PlayStation 5, I could have downloaded it, it was free, but, like, my interest in it is just so fucking low that, like, I could not have been bothered. And this is actually the first time in my life where I'm not checking out a new Call of Duty game, as it's releasing, as they're rolling it out. And I've realized that I've kind of become a gaming old head, because instead of playing the new Call of Duty alpha that came out, I'm just sitting here like, meh, I think I'll play through the GTA 5 story mode for the 7th time. Or meh, I think I'm going to go back and play Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3's campaigns for gameplay for YouTube. Like, I found myself doing that a lot more now, and I think that a lot of it comes down to the fact that I'm just simply not a kid anymore, man. I mean, when I was a kid, right, like, I would get home from school and, I would go outside, right? I'd go hang out with my friends, we'd ride bikes through the neighborhood, we would play Pokemon on our DS's and Game Boys and stuff like that. We would play, like, backyard baseball and, like, pick up basketball and football. We would, like, invent war games and stuff in the yards and stuff. That's what we did growing up, man. I know old heads like to make it out like kids after 1977 just didn't go the fuck outside, but we used to literally play outside from, like, 3 p.m. until, like, 9 p.m. when the sun literally just wasn't in the sky anymore. And, like, when you got done doing that, we would all come inside and play video games. You know what I'm saying? We would all hop on PS3 on BO2. And a lot of the times it was our friends who didn't live in the neighborhood that we played with, so we actually got to, like, talk to all of our friends in the same day. And, now as adults, right, like, I mean, I'm a fucking YouTuber, that's what I do, like, I get to play video games and talk all day, like, that's my job, but obviously all of my friends have quote-unquote regular jobs, right, like, they're doing whatever in society, while I'm bullshitting around on the internet, and they don't have time for video games like that anymore, so I don't really have people to play with, sometimes I play with, like, fans that I meet online on games. Like, about a week ago, I met some fans on Rocket League, and that was pretty cool. We played, like, 3 or 4 matches together against each other. That was, like, the best time I've had playing a video game in a minute. But, like, I keep reverting back to these years-old games, like, even Rocket League, right? Like, I was in high school when Rocket League came out and was free on PlayStation and I first got into it. I haven't really stuck with a game for very long since, after I graduated high school for sure. And it's kind of sad, right? Because like there's all these different effects that are really out of my control that just kind of make it not as enjoyable anymore, that make it kind of hard to get into games. And it just fucking sucks, because like I really hope that this isn't how gaming is going to be forever, right? Like I really do hope that there's going to be some games out there that really kind of pique all of our interests back into video games, because my friends largely feel the same way. We talk about this like once or twice a week, like, man, what I would do to go back to the days where we were all playing baseball together on the same team, kicking the shit out of everybody, and then we'd go home and blow people out, grown-ass men cussing at us on Black Ops 2. We'd go home and stomp them the fuck out in a match of domination. Like, if we could go back to that kind of feeling, man, that would be fucking incredible. But, like, there are a few upcoming games that I'm actually excited for. For instance, the new Battlefield game looks absolutely phenomenal. This looks like it's going to be the first shooter in years to genuinely capture my attention. Maybe the first shooter since Modern Warfare Remastered that I enjoy. I kinda liked Black Ops 4 for what it was worth. It was okay. Modern Warfare was playable sometimes too. I will give Splitgate its credit where credit's due. It's a phenomenal game, but I feel like a lot of people are getting burnt out of it really quickly. But we're all really excited for the upcoming Battlefield. I've always actually liked Battlefield ever since I've been playing it. I can't wait for that game to come out. Like, I'm actually really fucking excited. They announced a new Skate title is in the works. That's a game that, like, I just cannot fucking wait, man. The amount of time that me and my friends are gonna sink into this Skate game is unhealthy. And I know this is gonna sound kind of funny, but the rumored Unreal Engine Grand Theft Auto Trilogy remaster, I cannot wait for. GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas in some upscaled graphics on the Unreal Engine. That just, it sounds like it's going to make, you know, a couple weeks, if not months of my life a lot better. So I guess in the end, man, this is just a video talking about the gaming industry. I know there's a lot of people out there who like these new games, but man, I'm struggling to enjoy them the same way that I did as, you know, games that came out when I was a kid. And there's probably a lot of different reasons that combine together to make this the case, but it's honestly just depressing. And I wonder if other people really feel the same way. So let me know what you think about the gaming industry and video games in general down below. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, just talking about games and signing out.